What is going on, guys? It is time for a little stochastic so rare action. It's Neil producing today, which means that we got to, well, we both did a countdown, and it was very Jordan Klein-esque. So you guys wouldn't know how Jordan does his countdowns, but if I'm trying to do it on, so you guys could see how he normally does it, he'll tell us we have 5 seconds to go. And his way of telling us 5 seconds is like this.
He's great at it.
Yeah, so then I'm kind of sitting there, I'm like guessing, like, all right, I guess we're starting now. But for today, Neil and I are doing it. Neil's producing while I'm hosting here. So as guys come in, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to sign up at Sorare, here's a really easy way to do it for free. Just click on the link that we have below. Going to take you over to Sorare, and you're going to sign up with no cost to you whatsoever. So take advantage of that. And if you're playing on Sorare, you do get cards you start with totally for free. And then as you get more comfortable with the product, you could start buying some cards, and then you can win some really rare and unique prizes and build out some lineups. Compete with our guy, Neil Orfield here. And Neil, that is going to bring us to, how did you do in some of your recent contests?
Greg, it has been so brutal for me in terms of just barely missing the cut line.
No.
Here, I'll pull it up. Actually, we can take a look at my lineups here. So this is my current lineup. So my current lineup for the Limited Pro, which is my main one, I'm 3 points out of cashing today. But then looking at last week, I missed by 0.23 points cashing anything last week. And then I think the slate prior to that, it was like 2 or 3 points also. So I've been like just barely outside the cut line pretty consistently. It's been frustrating, but we're going to get back on it this week.
Yeah, and I just here found out that you could enlarge the screen within StreamYard here, which makes it easier for me to see everything. This actually is a lot easier for me to see than it is when we're doing stuff in Zoom. I don't know if it's the same for you or not.
It is. I mean, I can see it easier. So you just went into StreamYard and enlarged the screen that I'm sharing?
Yeah. So it is, I'll take a picture for you and I'll show you what I did after we're done here. But yeah, the way that I have this set up, I could see everything perfectly. It's big, it's clear, it's not blurry like when we're doing it in Zoom. Away with the producers. I don't want to cost everybody their job here. This is a lot easier.
Who needs Jordan Klein? Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Jordan Klein. Danny Guzman's in YouTube chat saying, YouTube chat?
YouTube chat.
YouTube chat. Yeah, it's something new that they're trying here. New product at YouTube. Danny Guzman is saying, what's up, Neil and Greg? What is going on, Danny? And then our guy, SGT Stadenko, saying, hello, gentlemen. Hello, SGT.
I saw SGT on the morning show, and I was like, there's a 100% chance he's going to join us for the Sorare show.
Absolutely. One of the regulars on our Thursday afternoon show. And we're going to be going through the normal stuff here, building out lineups for the upcoming slate, trying to figure out which matchups we want to target. But also, if you guys have any questions for us, if you guys are in the YouTube chat, like SGT, like Danny, speak up. Ask us some questions about the upcoming slate. Neil and I could break it down and see what's what. Try to figure out, the best ways to help you guys out for this as well. But let's see, what is going well with your current lineup, and what are the current pitfalls, Neil?
So we're looking at this Limited Pro one is my main one, and then I just fill out whatever I have left. I throw into the Limited All-Star. I mean, the pitchers have been kind of a downfall here. So I played 3 pitchers on this slate: Luis Castillo, Spencer Strider, and Zach Eflin, and none of them really did much. I'm starting to think, Greg, that I think I need to lean more towards playing bats in the Superflex, whatever you call this spot over here, where you can play either a batter or a pitcher. Because maybe it's just been bad luck for me, but I've just my pitchers have been consistently failing. I guess we see over here, Zach Wheeler did put up 34, so it's possible for a pitcher to put up a big score, but they never really exceed 40. That it's infrequent. I think that pitchers exceed 40, whereas you can see my bats here. Castellanos says 41 already, McMahon 47, Harper's at 30. So I think the bats look like they're kind of likely to get up there, and all of my bats can outscore all of my pitchers on this slate. So I think that's something I'm learning, is that I think I'm leaning more towards playing bats in the utility spot.
So let's go to the I'm curious. Let's just look at some of the top scoring lineups in the Limited Pro contest. By the way, it's not like you're in what, 260th out of 2,300 people.
Fair point. All right, so this is the winning lineup right now. Getting -2 out of his relief pitcher. That's insane that this lineup is winning. JT Realmuto 101. Is that Otani has 90. Michael Harris has 77. So yeah, he played Trey Turner, getting 38 out of his util. So
yeah,
absolutely crushing me with this lineup.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense too, because you think about it, even if you were thinking, FanDuel, DraftKings perspective, I think there's more of a floor for a starting pitcher than there is for a batter in that spot, assuming it's a stud starting pitcher, right? If you're just playing some shitty pitcher, they could go get their asses kicked and they score negative fantasy points. But in general, I think you're getting like a pretty solid 18, 20 fantasy point floor if you're paying a stud pitcher. There's the upside for them to score, mid to high 30s fantasy points. But the ceiling for a hitter is so much higher. And we see that all the time too with, just fantasy purposes. The top scoring hitter of the day is typically going to outscore the top scoring pitcher of the day. And then you think about it too, is that you're only getting one start out of the pitcher and 3 to 4 games out of the hitter. So
right.
Pitchers generally going to be safer, but I do think hitters offer more upside. There could be some exceptions. Say like you had your entire starting rotations going up against, like the Tigers, the A's, the Nationals and stuff like that. Maybe then you reconsider. But for by and large, I do think it makes probably more sense to play some of the stud type hitters that correlate with the rest of your lineup in the utility spot.
Yeah, I think so. I had been kind of going back and forth because it felt like a lot of the hitters were just getting to like, maybe just as mine have been getting like 20, 30 fantasy points. I'm like, well, when I get a stud pitcher in there, they can get 30. But when you see some of these bats getting up to 90 or 100, you're just never going to see that from a pitcher. So yeah, I think we're on the same page, just like switching to more bats in the util spot.
Let's see what lineup. I mean, I can't believe that guy got -2 fantasy points there out of the reliever.
I know. Let's see who's in second.
LaRouche.
So he is Strider in the starting pitcher spot. Who's this? Miguel Castro as his relief pitcher. So still, he's not getting much out of his pitchers. Also has Trey Turner, interestingly, in the util spot. Has Ohtani, has Real Muto. So a lot of the same players here.
So is the other takeaway you just need Trey Turner in the utility spot?
Apparently, Trey Turner in the util spot is the nuts.
By the way, is that an old Trey Turner card?
So I don't know how to enlarge the cards.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I think
the Dodgers jersey.
Yeah, and I think these ones are like the first year, and then these ones are the second year, like the more gold ones.
Okay, makes sense. Just kind of curious looking through that. One more. Let's look. So primarily this slate, it looks like there was a ton of massive scoring, just one-off players.
Yeah.
We are seeing people stack the Braves, people who stack the Phillies here. But it looks like you just needed to have, oh my God, the third place lineup. Look who's in the utility spot.
That is crazy.
All right, now I just have to know, how many lineups do we have to go down to find one that didn't have Trey Turner?
All right, let's see here. It's not showing me these ones. Sorry, let's see here.
I have to know now.
Oh man, why is it not? Okay, let's see. I can figure this out. I think Scarpelli has Real Muto in the util spot. So only 4, I guess.
Kind of hilarious, the top 3, because obviously Trey Turner is great, but he had like a kind of nondescript fantasy outing. So for the top 3 teams, they'll have him in the utility spot too.
Right,
it's pretty coincidental.
Yeah, that is wild.
How many? Imagine if we just looked at like the top 10 lineups, all had Trey Turner in the utility.
I would change my whole approach. Just got to go get a Trey Turner.
Trey Turner in the utility.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's see. So another thing too, were there just not stud pitchers that performed well on this slate?
There might not. Let me see if there's a way to quickly look at that.
Because just in general, when I'm looking at most of these top scoring lineups, like they have stud pitchers, but almost none of them had good games. Like they had decent, fine games, but we're not seeing like 38, 40 fantasy points out of pitchers or anything like that.
Here they are. Here are the top pitchers, Greg. I just found you can find it within the. So George Kirby put up 42. Just people probably didn't play a ton of George Kirby. Jose Barrios 35. Ken Wolochuk 33. So I think it's just largely not the pitchers that people were playing.
Yeah. So like you had Wheeler in your other lineup put up 32. There's Garrett Whitlock. He helped me win a GPP last night. He put up 32. But if you keep going down to the guys who are like the actual studs, the pitchers who were in the Cy Young race this year.
Garrett Cole 30.
Yeah. Cole put up 30, although that was against the Mets on the road, so probably not a matchup that people really would have wanted to have started him in. But yeah, a lot of your stud pitchers here, you're getting like, 24 out of Corbin Burns. You were getting, what was it? 20 out of Glasnow. He struggled against the A's last night. We got Kershaw had 19 against the White Sox. Castillo 18 last night. I'm trying to remember who Castillo pitched against last night. I can't recall off the top of my head.
The Marlins. I want to say the Marlins.
Oh, was it? Yeah, the Marlins. And then Strider, he struggled in his start as well. So you had all these really good starting pitchers that just kind of put up not terrible duds, but they were so close to each other in terms of actual scoring and being equally disappointing that the starting pitcher almost didn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you did get up to the top with George Kirby, like it's pretty flat.
Yeah. All right, pretty interesting to look at. And then if we just go to who are the top scoring, I remember we got the million fantasy points out of some of
Okay, so outfielder, I guess Michael Harris, the top of 73, Ronald Acuna, 67, Tati. So yeah, just looking at the
two
top of like
Braves.
all of the top 10, or I guess 8 of the top 10 outscored the top scoring pitcher, or I guess Yelich matched him and Carroll matched him, but much higher scoring in general. Looking at outfielders, middle infield, we've got
Mhm.
Real Muto at
Yeah,
95, leading the way by a mile. So
yeah,
you kind of needed
double.
Real Muto, yeah. But still, like Seager and Ibanez, McMahon, Stott, Elbies, Witt, all outscored the top scoring pitcher. Corner infield, we got Shohei Ohtani at 85. Again, a little bit of a gap here between Ohtani and Andy Ibanez. Spencer Torkelson with 50, of course, as you'd expect.
Yeah. Can I tell you something really tilting about Spencer Torkelson? So, because it projected well in Odd Shopper the other day, I had a bet. It was on Strider under 9.5 strikeouts. I had Spencer Torkelson to homer. I had Eric Haas to homer. And then the game gets rained out, right? So that was, what was it? Tuesday night, something like that, I want to say. It was something, I had a colonoscopy. I came home. I checked out Odd Shopper, wanted to see what the top bets were, threw some bets and went to sleep for the rest of the day. Game gets rained out. I go, whatever. Don't think about it. Wednesday afternoon, the game plays. What happens in the first inning? Strider gets lit up, gives up home runs to Torkelson and Eric Haas. Strider ends up having one of his worst outings of the season, finishes nowhere near 9.5 strikeouts. All my bets from the day before got voided, though. So
I saw that you responded to somebody on Twitter about that. that is extremely tilting.
Yeah, and also it's obviously there were super long home run odds too, because it was like Torkelson and Eric Haas. So like I'm thinking about, I'm like, this is like $2,500 in home run bets that just got erased by a rained out game, because nothing changed from one day to the next day, other
Right.
than the fact that just I didn't bet it the next day for one reason or another. I just didn't think to look early in the morning. So very, very, very tilting that ended up happening yesterday, but also kind of correlates to some of the stuff we're seeing there. Also, shout out to Danny Guzman, who's in the YouTube chat, who says I did the
You
same
just said
thing
it again. That was incredible.
It must be, it must be the way that Danny Guzman and then YouTube saying it back.
That must be, yeah.
Danny Guzman, YouTube. There we go.
Danny Guzman,
Anyway,
YouTube.
Danny saying the Sims got him 10K last night, came in second place on the FanDuel main slate. He was up 30K until Jake Berger hit a late home run, but he's ready to get some good Sorare cards now. So, Danny, nice hit last night. And good to see that a lot of people having success with the Sims. I also had a pretty solid night, won a bunch of single entry tournaments on DraftKings. So, congrats, Danny. Do absolutely love
Really
to
cool
see it. Let's start looking at the upcoming slate, Neil. And
yep. So I've pulled up here, Greg, just the probable pitchers. So we can, if you want to, we can go like day by day. So we just have 3 days, Friday through Sunday. Does that make sense? Just look at who are the pitching matchups on this page.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to look at it.
Anything stand out to you for these first 6 games here? Nice matchup for Alcantara against Washington.
Boy, has Sandy Alcantara been a disappointment this year, though.
Yeah.
He's not the same guy as he was last year. And even like a lot of the stuff, like his spin rate isn't the same. A lot of his just underlying metrics aren't quite the same. I do wonder if he had such an insane workload last year that he's just maybe a little bit worn down this year.
Yeah.
And not necessarily to the point where it's like he's actually injured or anything, but I think it could just be hard because he led baseball in innings pitched by a lot last year off the top of my head. Pulled up his stats. Yeah. 228 innings pitched, 32 starts. That's a massive, massive workload. So, I mean, he made 32 starts and he was averaging 7 innings per start across those starts and made all of them. So pretty big workload this year. Now his velocity remains the same, but his strikeout rate is down. His walk rate is way up. His ERA 4.75, expected ERA 4.11. It's what should be like a good get well matchup against the Nationals on paper, but he's just kind of consistently struggled. So when you're only rostering, one pitcher or one starting pitcher, and you could kind of pick and choose who you want to be in what spot, I don't know that I'd go after Sandy. Yeah. Maybe not a bad buy low option moving forward. Gausman's been really good this year, but a brutal matchup for him on the road in Texas. So I don't know I'd want to roster him. Yeah, nothing here that I'd really say stands out of those top 6 games.
All right, moving down to the next 6. Yeah, gas can. Not going to the gas can, I don't think. What about Joe Ryan against the Tigers? I don't hate that.
I don't hate that either. I would assume his cards are probably not overly expensive either.
Let's see.
Yeah, so Joe Ryan. this year. Obviously, good matchup for him against the Tigers. Yeah, 2.9 ERA, 2.45 expected ERA, strikeout rate, career best 27.3%. So looks like a pretty good spot for Joe Ryan for sure.
$17 for the card. Yeah, I don't mind that.
All right, let's go back and look at the other matchups. So Joe Ryan would certainly be one. Don't really have interest in Yu Darvish against the Rays. Zach Gallen. By the way, the two Cy Young favorites in the National League, both Zach Gallen and Spencer Strider, have both struggled in some really easy matchups as of late.
Yeah. I didn't realize Zach Gallen was in the Cy Young hunt.
Yeah, so actually all right, so I'm going to pull up the odds right now, just out of curiosity to bring to the people. So current award odds for the National League. Number 1 is Zach Gallen. 2 is now Clayton Kershaw. He has surpassed Spencer Strider. So for a while, we had Strider 1, Gallen 2, but now with Strider having a couple of mid starts in a row, we've got Kershaw has jumped him. Actually, Zach Wheeler is now tied with Spencer Strider for third there. So you got Gallen, then Kershaw, Strider, Wheeler. That rounds out your top 4. Then there's kind of a drop off there.
Okay.
But I don't know if I want to go to Zach Gallen against the Guardians there.
Yeah, not the easiest matchup. And then the final 3 games.
Yeah, nothing there.
Yeah, nothing that we want to go to here.
Brian,
all right,
woo! Do you have to do that when you say his name?
I think you have to.
Woo!
I think after whistles came out, it's always
that's right.
Always got to be that way.
All right. Now, a lot of TBDs on the schedule.
Yeah. Makes it hard to plan ahead. The nice thing is if you do go to, if you look at your Sorare, like when you go to make a lineup, so let's say if I go to make a lineup here in my limited pro contest, go to register, they'll show you who they have projected to start. So I think they project out a little bit more sometimes than the MLB page does. So like they might not show in the MLB page that Shane McClanahan is projected to pitch, but Sorare will show you who they have as the projected starters here. So that's kind of cool.
Then let's see, who's McClanahan going to be pitching against? Because McClanahan's been arguably the best pitcher in baseball so far this year.
San Diego.
Ooh, I feel less good about that.
I know. Me too.
Oh, what else? Who's starting for the Braves against the Rockies?
Bryce Elder.
Not terrible. Got Kodai Senga, who's been incredibly inconsistent this year.
Yep.
Bryce Elder. All right, keep scrolling down. Let's keep scrolling. Snell against his former team. Logan Gilbert against the White Sox. There's some upside there. Bobby Miller's been incredible so far. One of the top pitching prospects in baseball, off to a torrid start with the Dodgers there.
0.78 ERA. Don't mind that. I don't know if you have any. He might not have any cards. That's always with young players. You have to think about.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Let's see if we
Let's
can
see,
get
Bobby Miller.
All right, so we do have $55 for Bobby Miller. I'd rather go with Joe Ryan personally.
Yeah.
But,
no, same. I guess people are getting. So a couple of things here. Number one is probably a little bit of hype around Bobby Miller, but also I assume probably a shortage of his cards because he is so young and being a rookie that drives up the price. Just a limited supply.
Yeah, only 3 available for sale. Also, like I know this from like sports cards because he's on the Dodgers. He's going to get a bump. Anybody on the Dodgers, the Yankees, going to be a little bit more expensive generally.
Yeah,
so that could be factored in.
Makes sense.
All right, so I think we made it through these games well enough.
Let's check Sunday, and then that's the last day of the slate. So we look at Sunday. We've got Jesus Luzardo,
Charlie Morton facing the Rockies.
That's a pretty good one for upside.
A little bit upside there, yeah.
Nothing else looks great.
Yeah. Tony Gonsolin against the Giants.
By the way, if anything stands out to anybody in YouTube chat, hit us up. Oh, you're going with Zach Wheeler. You already have Zach Wheeler.
I already have Zach Wheeler. That's perfect.
Yeah, easy peasy.
I like that. Like that a lot. Nothing else really.
All
Bryce
right.
Miller against the Sox, maybe. But what about the bets here? So we don't have a Coors slate. That's of course always the first thing I look at is, are we playing in Coors this weekend?
It's funny. So the thing that stood out to me is even though it's not in Coors Field, the best spot is probably the Braves at home against the Rockies.
That is the thing about like the Rockies pitchers are so bad. Like that's what we've been attacking the Red Sox bats in Fenway. Now we just kind of continue that, like facing these Rockies bats even outside of Coors. That's true.
By the way, Danny Guzman in YouTube chat wants to know, how are you acquiring your cards? Mostly new card auction, manager sales, or starters packs? So, Neil, why don't you let them know what it is you've been doing to get most of your cards here?
Yeah, so for me, I've only ever bought from manager sales, the buy it now prices. My guess is the auctions are probably a little bit cheaper on average. Like you could probably get better deals if you do hound these auctions. But it's my approach has just been the manager sales. Starter packs, I think that was the first 5 cards that I bought was through a starter pack, but I prefer to just be able to, pick through the exact cards that I want rather than going and getting these. Maybe they're a better deal or something. I haven't looked closely at the starter packs, but for me, it's just been I've been going to manager sales, buying them at the buy it now price. That way, you can also it doesn't matter a ton, but like you can also look at what the experience points are on each card. Like, are you getting a 1% bonus here, or are you getting a 1.5%? Sometimes it's up to like 5% bonus, so you can kind of pick through like the better experience points as well. So yeah, my approach, manager sales, but I don't think there's necessarily a right answer.
Yeah. And the other thing too is I know that, so for example, Neil has his Zach Wheeler. That's one that he got as a prize for our tournament.
Yep, that's a good point as well. Like some of them, when I do happen to get into the scoring positions, then I have won a few of those cards there. Which the Zach Wheeler one has come in pretty handy.
Which, let's go and build your lineup, because I think we're going to start with Zach Wheeler.
I think we are too. All right, so we're doing limited pro, starting as you said with Zach Wheeler. Now Zach Eflin, I think was in a pretty good spot here. I think I'm probably going there as my relief pitcher. Where they they're in San Diego, so it's not a great spot for Zach Eflin. So I could play Zach Eflin in San Diego, or I could play Brandon Bielak facing the Reds at home. What do you think? Or I could just play a standard relief pitch. I could play Jordan Romano.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Bielak.
Better matchup. You only get 2 points per strikeout on Sorare too. So like the higher strikeouts upside doesn't necessarily matter as much. I think Bielak is the right call there.
So now if we look through which teams do we want to be targeting, who do the Phillies play again for this upcoming slate?
The Phillies.
Let's see. So the Phillies are going to be going up against
in Oakland.
Oh, so probably the Phillies. Because the Oakland pitchers are JP Sears. No matter who it is, it's bad starting pitching. JP Sears, James Kaprelian, and then Sunday is Hogan Harris. Yeah, let's go with. I feel pretty good about some of those Phillies bats.
I do too. So I'm going to just lock it in. Bryce Harper for the start. Who else do we have? Do I have any other Phillies that I can play here in the middle infield spot? Maybe I don't. Doesn't look like I do. So who am I choosing from here? Let's see. And I think everybody has 3 games on this slate.
Yeah, so the middle infielder you'd probably want to play from the Phillies is Trey Turner, but as we know, he's a utility guy. You want to play him. That is
true. You want him in the util for sure.
It actually, by the way, for anybody watching, it really doesn't matter which spot you play some of those guys in, but it was just at the top of the show. If you guys missed it, we're looking at the winning lineups from last week, and for whatever reason, the top 3 all hit Trey Turner in the utility. Anyway, middle infielder.
Xander Bogaerts. I guess he's facing the Tampa pitchers though, so probably
yeah,
not.
I'd be less apt to. Didn't you have some Dodgers?
I do have some Dodgers, but is Max Muncy? I think he's hurt.
Yeah, Muncy's banged up right now.
All right, who else do we have here? Apparently, I need to do some work on my middle infield because I don't have the best options here.
Hey, our middle infielders are trash.
Brandon Lau is hurt too, so just like my best middle infielders are hurt this week.
What's the matchup for the Giants again? Because Tyler Estrada has been incredible this year. Right,
Dodgers.
Giants are on the road against the Dodgers, so probably not there.
Jonathan India.
That's going to be tough too. They're going against the Astros. Marte.
Ryan McMahon in Atlanta. It's not the worst matchup for the Rockies. Like, they're not facing the best Braves pitchers. Jared Schuster, Bryce Elder, Smith Shawver, I think. Or maybe
I
it's not
think
Smith
I'd be
Shawver.
most of the options you have. I think I'd be most apt to go to Ketel Marte.
All right, I'm in. I'm in for that. I don't feel strongly one way or the other. Who are the D-backs playing?
They are playing the Guardians.
Okay. I'm happy
They
to
are
play
going to be
some Marte.
drawing Bieber in this upcoming slate, which isn't ideal. But I mean, they get Bieber, they get McKenzie, but I don't think it's the end of the world playing at home in Arizona. And
No.
then from here, we could look at some of the other Phillies you have.
Yeah, got Schwarber with a 6.5% bonus for experience points. Throw Castellanos in there, and then I can play anybody in the flex spot. So it could go to one of these starting pitchers, but let's see. Maybe Corbin Carroll. I mean, we've got Ketel Marte in there.
Yep. Unless I
Or
can't
Freddie
remember
Freeman.
if you have any other Phillies.
Yeah, let's see. Alec Boehm.
I think I'd be more apt just go to Corbin Carroll and give yourself the 2-man stack there.
Yep, I think that's a good call.
And Corbin Carroll's been ridiculous this year.
He's been so good. And, I bought that card early on. I think Adam and I doing a Sorare segment on the morning show. He was talking about how great Corbin Carroll is, how much of a study is. So I went and bought a card for like $60. And the last I saw, they're up at like $110, $120 is the lowest price. So fun to see that.
There we go. Yeah, and you're gonna get him forever. He's a rookie this year. You got like 20 years of Corbin Carroll, the rate he's going.
It's a beautiful thing.
All right. Let's lock it in. We got a lineup here of Phillies stack with Diamondbacks as a secondary stack, Brandon Bielak, who's a starter / reliever availableness, and then Zach Wheeler going up against the Oakland A's. I think it's a winning lineup.
I think it is too, and some nice correlation there as well with the Phillies starting pitcher with his bats. So I like it.
That's true.
We're submitting that one. It's a beautiful lineup.
Submitting. There it is. Good to go. By the way, also a follow-up from Danny Guzman. Danny saying, thank you. That was helpful. Didn't know when he had some he didn't know that some of them had the experience bonus attached. Yeah, so it's not like the bonuses are slate breaking or anything, but they definitely help a little. It's
a nice tiebreaker, especially like when you get to like in the NBA playoffs. I definitely notice like other people would have my exact same lineup with different experience points. So it becomes a factor sometimes in some of the contests, but yeah, in general, not a huge factor.
All right, so let's wrap this up then. If you guys haven't done yet, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't checked out Sorare, sign up using the link that we have below. That's going to do it for Neil and I today. I've got a meeting to go to. Neil's got softball later on. He's going to be pitching hopefully better results than he had last week. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Check out Live Before Lock later tonight. I'll be on with Eric Lindquist.
Later, guys.